So, as we have seen that marginal utility of a commodity falls as we consume more of that commodity. Similarly, marginal rate of substitution diminishes. Let's come back to this example, the schedule that I have not rubbed yet. Combination A is 10 units of food, 1 unit of clothing. Combination B is 7 units of food and 2 units of clothing. So, we are giving up 3 units of food in order to attain 1 unit of clothing. So, marginal rate of substitution is nothing but the difference between these two and the difference between these two. 10 and 7 difference is 3 and 2 and 1 is 1. So, 3:1 that is 3. Now, when you are coming to combination C, we are again giving up 2 units of food and we are getting 2 units of clothing. So, the difference is 7 and 5, the difference is 2 and 2 and 3 is 1. So, marginal rate of substitution is nothing but 2:1 that is 2. So, what is happening over here is diminishing marginal rate of substitution. That means the marginal rate of substitution is falling. Now, just take a simple example. Suppose you have more of a single good, say X. So, you want to give up X for getting some amount of Y. But the main problem, as you are giving up the amounts of X to get another amounts of some amounts of Y, the amount of X that is remaining with you goes on falling. Now, since the amount of X that is remaining with you goes on falling, it becomes more dearer to you. So, you will be willing to give up lesser and lesser units of X in order to attain more of Y. So, this is exactly what diminishing marginal rate of substitution says. See, let's come back to the, let's see what is written. Indifference curve analysis is based on the assumption of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Okay, this means that as consumers substitute more of one good, say X, for another commodity Y, he or she will be prepared to give up lesser units of Y for each additional units of X. Now, let's concentrate in this example. See, initially, in order to get 1 unit of clothing, you were ready to give up 3 units of food. Then, in the next stage, what happened? In order to get 1 unit of clothing, you were ready to give up 2 units of food. Why? Because initially you had 10 units of food and now you had 7 units of food and now you had 5 units of food. So, as the amount of food goes or as the amount of food falls, it becomes more dearer to you. So, you are ready to give up lesser and lesser units. Again, when you are increasing the consumption of clothing by 1 unit, you are willing to give up only one amount of food because the amount of food that is remaining to you falls. So, this is 5 to 4 is only 1. So, this is the exact case that is portrayed by diminishing marginal rate of substitution. So, you can see 3, 2, 1. So, now one thing, we see that indifference curve is like this, more or less, it's a curve. So, this shape, okay, this is convex to origin, If had it been indifference curve like this is concave to origin, but indifference curve is like this. We have already seen that in previous section. So, this shape of indifference curve is called convex. It is a convex curve. So, this shape of indifference curve is due to diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Fine. So, that is the reason we have mentioned over here indifference curve analysis is based on the assumption of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Because indifference curve is convex to the origin, that means obviously diminishing marginal rate of substitution has taken place. Had it not been convex to the origin like this, it is concave to the origin, then marginal rate of substitution rises, not diminishes. But in your syllabus, we have convex indifference curve. That means diminishing marginal rate of substitution. For this curve, the marginal rate of substitution is not diminishing.